Round one of the 2024 NBA draft took place last night. This is the first year we're having 2 different days for the NBA draft. They broke it up, so that's kind of interesting. But I just want to drop a quick round one reaction to all the picks that went down last night. And if you guys are new around here, make sure to click the subscribe button, sub up. We're on the road to 3K subs. And with the number 1 pick in the 2024 draft, the Atlanta Hawks picked Zachary Risacher from France. Now, I think Alex Sarr should have been the number 1 pick, not for the Hawks though. So the Hawks didn't mess this pick up because they have Onyeka Okongwu, they have Clint Capella, they didn't want another big man, they didn't even work out Alex Sarr. But in this class, it kind of felt like Sarr was the best prospect, if you guys know what I'm saying. But for the Hawks, that's not the route they wanted to go. Risacher, hey, I'm just gonna be honest, I don't know too much about him. Most of you guys probably don't know too much about him. He's been playing overseas like his whole life. He's from France. He's 6'9", 195 pounds. And I don't know, he's an upside pick here. He's an upside pick. A lot of the players, actually not a lot of the players. That's the thing with this class. As we look at a lot of the picks, there's not a lot of upside players. There's a few. And the Hawks went upside with the first pick. This pick could go very wrong. Like, I feel like the odds are this pick is not going to pan out. For a number 1 overall pick, this might be one that we look back on and are like, that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Now, if we scroll down, the number 2 pick was Alex Sarr, another player from France. There was 3 players from France picked inside the top 6. Buddy, you're not getting the next Wemby. How do we tell you? But Alex Sarr, I think, is probably going to be the best of the 3. Watch me be completely wrong, but 7 foot. They have him listed as a power forward on here. And I think that's because people, you know, some people question his strength, and I don't know. I think he's going to be a center. Give it like a year or 2. But for now, I guess I understand why they're a power forward. So I love that pick for the Wizards at number 2. Number 3, Reed Sheppard. Now, I love Reed Sheppard. I think he's a great player, great pick. It's just crazy to me that Reed Sheppard is going 3rd. Now, I get it. Given the draft class, given the options, it's kind of a draft class of, you know, role players, as people want to say. But Reed Sheppard going 3, you know, number 3's usually got like some real superstar potential in the draft. And Reed Sheppard just feels like he's going to be a guy. He's going to be a solid role player. And so I guess the Rockets didn't go too wrong there, although they do have kind of a stacked backcourt with, you know, Fred VanVleet, Jalen Green, all their young guys. And it's just like, I don't know, he's added into that. So he's going to be kind of on the back end of that. And I mean, I don't expect him to start really at all for the Rockets, at least not right now. Next up, we have Stephon Castle to the Spurs at number 4. He's a player that was, you know, rumored to go a little bit later than this. I would say 5 to 10. Really good defender. This guy he knows how to win. He's a winner. Won at UConn. Don't hate the pick. You know, I feel like the Spurs really couldn't go too wrong in the draft, having picks 4 and pick 8, which we'll get to. Pick 8. Spurs, what's going on with that? You know what I'm saying? We got to talk about that. But for now, we'll talk about pick number 4. Stephon Castle. I mean, yeah, again, I think the Spurs really couldn't go wrong trying to build around Wemby. There's a lot of options they could go with in this draft, and Castle, I think, is a perfect pick there defensively. Ron Holland at number 5. He's another player that was expected to go a little bit later. Another kind of upside play. I feel like he actually does have a little more star potential than, say, like a Reed Sheppard, just as a prospect wise. 6'7", 197 from the G League. Pick number 5 to the Pistons. It does suck that you are a Piston, buddy. Now, I'm just gonna be honest, I'm probably gonna mess up his name, but Salon, I think it is. I don't know much about him really at all. You know, I knew more about Sarr and Risacher, but they took him at 6, the Hornets. And again, sorry that you're gonna be a Hornet. Is this gonna work out? I don't know. I heard he's a pretty solid shooter. That's going to be interesting. Am I going to watch him much? Probably not at all, because the Hornets are not a team that I'm probably going to watch. We're going to be at the bottom of the Eastern Conference. Number 7, Donovan Clingan. Now, he's a player I thought was going to go higher in the draft. I thought he was going to go higher. And as the draft was progressing, I was like, what's going on? Like, especially, you know, Ron Holland before him, Salam before him. Clingan is another player that's been a winner at UConn. And he is just a prototypical, not a prototypical because he can't really shoot too well, although people say that he might be able to develop that into his game. But he is the perfect, you know, screen setting, rebounding big that teams could use. 7'2", 282, great defender, lob threat, just a center, you know what I'm saying? An NBA center. So solid pick there as the Portland Trail Blazers are trying to get the center of the future. Now we have one of the most interesting picks in the entire draft. the San Antonio Spurs select Rob Dillingham. And I was happy when this happened. When the Spurs picked Dillingham, I was happy because I've been wondering who's going to be the building blocks with this Spurs team next to Victor Wembanyama. And I thought Dillingham would have been the perfect point guard to go alongside him. And people are already saying this could be like, you know, what if the Hornets never traded Kobe, or what if the Hawks never traded Luka? It might be one of those. It might end up being one of those. Now, a lot of people are skeptical on Rob Dillingham given his size. He's very small, not good of a defender. But we see a lot of players in the NBA that turn out to be great that aren't that good of a defender. I mean, you could think of like Kyrie Irving, who he's actually being player comp to in some places. You could also think of like Trae Young, stuff like that. Rob Dillingham is one of the best, if not the best, offensive players in the entire class. And I thought the Spurs would have been great for him. That would have been a great spot, but they end up trading him to Minnesota for like a 2031 pick. I don't get it. Y'all can explain in the comments. I gotta be missing something. I don't understand why the Spurs would do this. And they're giving him to Minnesota, where he's probably gonna kill it. Is he gonna start? I don't think so, but that's a really good landing spot, and that'll be really good for his career. Now at number 9, we have Zach Edey, a player that's probably the most polarizing in the entire draft class. 7'4", 300-pound center from Purdue, one of the best college players in the last 5 to 10 years. And I don't know. I don't think he should have been a lottery pick. I don't think he should have been in the top 10 because he's just very slow. At 7'4", we have seen very few players pan out at this height, and I get it. You're going for the upside. The Grizzlies want to bring in their center, and they're banking on it. They're taking a risk, and I like risks. Sometimes you got to take risks, but I think, especially for the Grizzlies, I think they probably could have traded down and still got him. I don't love that pick, given it was at number 9. I just don't know if Edey's going to pan out. Number 10, Cody Williams, Jalen Williams' brother. Solid pick. I think he's just going to be a solid player. We'll have to see if his offensive game comes together. Matas Buzelis used to be rumored to go, number 1, number 2, number 3 in his draft class whenever he was going to, declare for the NBA draft. Fell all the way to 11 here. I like this pick for the Bulls at number 11. At number 12, we have Nikola Topic from Serbia, just like Nikola Jovic and Nikola Jokic. He's injured, so I don't think he's going to play this year. It'll kind of be like a Chet Holmgren situation where he's not going to play his rookie year until the year after. But he was supposed to go higher in this draft, but because of his injury, he fell to an OKC Thunder team that's pretty much loaded for this year, so they don't even really need him. And my thought process is this is like a Josh Giddey pick. He's very similar to Josh Giddey in like the style of play, except he could probably pan out better. We saw how Giddey was in OKC. At the beginning, it was looking good. It was looking like he could pan out. And then this year, he got pretty much played off the court because he couldn't shoot. So it's kind of like they're resetting that like Josh Giddey clock. They just traded him. Now they're bringing in Topic, who can kind of be the same thing. Devin Carter, the Kings, solid defender, solid pick there. Bub Carrington, 14 from Pittsburgh to the Trailblazers. I'm going to just be honest with y'all. I heard about him a little bit before the draft. I don't know too much about him. So some of these guys I just am not that informed on. I'm not a college expert, okay? You can't blame me. But I'm pretty sure this is a solid pick from what I've heard. Khalil Ware from Indiana to the Miami Heat. A lot of Heat fans love this pick. I heard a lot of Bulls fans before the draft say that they wanted him. He's another kind of prototypical big. Sets screens, rebound, kind of like Donovan Clingan in a way. So that's a solid pick. Jared McCain, 16. To the 76ers. This was a pick that I was waiting to see. Where would Jared McCain go? I thought he would sneak into the lottery because in a class where you have a bunch of role players, and like Jared McCain is that. He is as good of a role player as they come. And I've been following him since high school, so I'm probably a little bit biased. I've been watching his YouTube videos like since he's been posting them in high school. And he just has a great work ethic, a great, routine. And he's a player that I feel like everyone would want on their team, unless you just hate the antics surrounding him with, his nails and his TikTok and stuff. I know some people can hate that, but as a player, he gets it done. He's a solid defender given his size. He can shoot, he can play make, he can pretty much do everything. Again, the only thing is he's only 6'2". So will he grow a little taller? Maybe, because how old is he? I don't know the exact age, but maybe he could still grow a little bit. But very solid pick. If you're a Sixers fan, you should be happy about that. I am also a little bit upset that it was the Sixers who got him. I was hoping it would be more of a likable team for me. Maybe the Knicks. I kind of like them. I'm from New York. I am a Warriors fan. but you know what I'm saying? The Sixers, like, Philly fans, is tough. Lakers got Dalton Knecht. This is one of the best picks of the entire draft. Maybe, possibly the best pick. Dalton was a player I thought would go inside the top 10 from Tennessee, fell all the way to 17. He's a player that I think could make an impact in year one. He's one of the most pro-ready players in the entire draft. And I was thinking that he's kind of like and y'all will clown me for this because any comp you make, especially if I'm making it, you're gonna be like, oh, that's weird. I'm not saying it in a player comparison way, but kind of like how the Miami Heat had Jaime Jaquez and he was making more of an impact than people expected. I feel like Dalton Knecht can do that. He can make an impact, score for this Lakers team, especially an old Lakers team that's gonna need some young players to have minutes. And by old, I mean, of course, I'm talking about LeBron. I mean, AD is a little bit up there too. Tristan Da Silva, another player that I don't know too much about, but it doesn't sound like it's too bad of a pick for the Magic. I just don't know too much. Jacoby Walter, player that I'm a little bit lower on. I feel like he's been hyped up for a while now, and just he didn't really pan out too well in college from the numbers that I was looking at. All his shooting numbers looked pretty low, but it looks like he's a long arm wing, which is going to be good for defense. So hopefully his offense can pan out, but I'm unsure of that pick. And then the Cavs picked Jalen Tyson, who I think was supposed to go in the second round. They kind of reached for him. Another player I don't know too much about, but solid. Missy to the Pelicans. Great pick here, in my opinion. This is another player that is just going to be defensive. He's going to be a great defensive player, and the Pelicans they're kind of looking for the big of the future, kind of like the Trailblazers earlier. Solid pick there. DaRon Holmes, picked by the Suns, but this will be going to the Denver Nuggets. And actually, okay, wait, yeah, I think Bub is, I don't know. This pick was traded as well. Did I get that wrong? I don't know. I think I did. Okay, so yeah, Bub Carrington is going to the Wizards. So that was something that I forgot to mention. But DaRon Holmes, picked by the Suns, is going to the Denver Nuggets. And it was pretty much talked about a lot before the draft that the Nuggets wanted him at pick 28. And they just got a little too eager. I guess they didn't want to risk it. They ended up trading up to pick 22 to get him. Solid player to go alongside Nikola Jokic, possibly play some backup minutes at big behind Nikola Jokic. AJ Johnson, I made a tweet because he was in the crowd. He wasn't one of the players that was invited to, you know, really be at the draft or whatever. So he just went in the crowd and they picked him and he started walking down from the crowd. I was like, the Bucks just picked somebody from the crowd. What is going on? I saw his numbers too I think he's like Australian, I believe. And the numbers were like not good. They just weren't good. I don't know if, yeah, they don't even have him on ESPN. They weren't good numbers. So kind of a surprising pick, could go very wrong, but hey, the Bucks are solid, pretty good managed team. So maybe that'll pan out. This is also a pick that'll be going to the Washington Wizards, I believe. Keyshawn George, 6'7", from Miami. I think that's a pretty solid pick. This one was insane. I mean, Stephen A. Smith's face on the broadcast when it happened, because he was all hyped up. He's like, oh my God, it's the Knicks' turn. It's the Knicks pick. Who's gonna be the pick they take? It was reminiscent of when they got Porzingis and all the fans were freaking out. I'm gonna be honest. Again, not a big college guy, and this guy wasn't even college. He's from France, but I don't even know who this is. Like, before he was picked, I didn't know who he was. So when they said the name, I was like, whoa, what the like, I don't know. That was a crazy pick to me. Don't really know anything about him. 6'8", 270 from France. I guess, like, I don't know what's going on in France, but something crazy is going on. So this is actually going to the OKC Thunder here, the Dylan Jones pick. 6'4", 237 from Weber State. Interesting pick. I don't even know if he'll play too many NBA minutes this year just because the Thunder are so stacked. Terrence Shannon Jr. to the Timberwolves. This is a player that a lot of people wanted. I saw a lot of Celtics fans saying they wanted him at pick 30, which we're about to talk about the Celtics pick. But this is a good pick for the Timberwolves. I mean, what a day. What a draft for the Timberwolves so far, getting Rob Dillingham and then Terrence Shannon Jr., Ryan Dunn from Virginia to the, who got this? Was this, yeah, the Suns. The Suns ended up getting him. He's a defensive player. Solid pick there. Isaiah Collier fell all the way to 29. Bronny's teammate at USC, a guy that was rumored to go number 1, you know, a few months ago, maybe not a few months, maybe 6 months, 7 months at this point in time. But he was rumored to go at the very top of the draft, and he fell very, very far. One of the highest upside players in the entire draft. I like this pick. I like this pick for the Jazz, taking a stab at someone that's falling and has upside. I like that. And then number 30, one of my favorite players in the entire draft, just because I think he can like succeed in the NBA. And I saw he was lowly ranked, supposed to go in round 2. And I was like, bro, he could be a first round pick. And he was. Baylor Scheierman going to the Boston Celtics. Is he going to play much? Probably not, maybe. But this is a great pick for the Boston Celtics. And since I'm not sure if I'm going to make a round 2 video, let's just talk about some players that will probably be picked in round 2 that I like. Johnny Furphy, not a huge fan. Kyle Filipowski, I like him. Tyler Kolek, another role player that feels like he could succeed at the NBA level. I like him as well. Adam Bona, like that pick as well. Kevin McCullough Jr., solid player. Justin Edwards, another one. Cam Spencer, I'm kind of unsure of him. But again, in a class of potential role players, like he kind of fits in this class. I just don't know. Jamal Shed, very solid. Let's see who else we got. Nikola, how do you say it? Durasic. I thought that he was another name that I thought could go higher in this class. So we'll see where he ends up. Antonio Reeves, another player that I think has to be drafted. If not, he'll be signed somewhere. Of course, you got Bronny James, who is, you know, rumored to go 55 to the Lakers. And then if we go to the second page, I think that, yeah, like Oso Ighodaro is another player that is one of my favorites in the entire draft. I hope the Warriors pick him. The Warriors have like 1 pick, I believe. So we'll see what they do with that. I'm going to be very intrigued to what happens there. But I don't know if there's really anybody else here that is worth talking about. But I think that someone should give Oso Ighodaro a shot. Let me go to the third page, but I don't think there's really going to be anybody here. You got Jalen Williams from Auburn. Trey Mitchell from Kentucky. And then, yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how this draft, you know, concludes with it being 2 days. Let me know in the comments, who's your favorite pick of the first round? Of course, subscribe if you guys haven't. I see the analytics a lot. A lot of you guys watch, but you don't sub. It helps out a lot. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.